All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this is episode 5 of Two Average Guys. Glad to have you back. We have a lot to talk about today.
That we do.
We have to cover our games from last week. We have to cover what's coming up. We're going to cover the Heisman watch, kind of tell you who we think are the top spots for the Heisman. We're going to talk about who dropped out of the top 20, who dropped out of the top 10 that were in the top 10, the big losses for the week. And we're going to go and talk about the top 10 of the AP poll, which came out today. And we played break stuff because I'm a little pissed off about it, and so I'm really excited to talk about it because I'm going to go on a little bitchy rant here because it pisses me off. So it should be kind of fun, which is why we're drinking Tall Boys. And
it's a Tall Boy kind of day.
It's a PBR kind of day too. So let's chat about our games last week. So one of our games was Bama versus Georgia. Jimmy and I both picked Georgia in that game. At Georgia, I thought Nick Chubb would have a little bit more of a game. He still had over 100 yards, but one of his rushes was like 88 yards for a touchdown. So Nick Chubb, not much of a factor in that game. Georgia's pass game was not that good. Bama's defense, they stopped the run really well, and if you can't pass the ball on them, you're not going to win. So
going into the week, I thought that would be one of the better games. I mean, on paper, it was one of the best games, if not the best. But Georgia's showed that they're pretty much one-dimensional, and Alabama's run defense is one of the best in the country, and one of the best run teams against one of the best run defenses, and obviously run defense won out on that one. You can't pass the ball, you're not going to be able to win the game.
And I really don't think it was too much of a secret that they're one-dimensional. Nick Chubb has been their star all year. He was one of their big stars last year coming in.
He's fantastic.
Melvin Gordon. So not Melvin Gordon. Yeah, Melvin Gordon. Is he Wisconsin? No, he was Wisconsin. Or was it Gordon, Georgia? Todd Gurley. When he came for Gurley last year. Sorry, brain fart. So he came for Gurley last year, and they're like, oh, you're screwed. Well, Chubb had a great year, so he struggled this game. Bama comes out on top. Neither of us win that game. Game number 2, Arizona at Stanford. We both picked Stanford. Stanford had pretty good control over over Arizona that game. So great game for Stanford. They're still ranked. I think they should be ranked a little higher.
I agree.
But they're still in the top. What are they? 18
yeah, something like that.
18 or 16.
And their only loss was against Northwestern, and
Northwestern
they're
is really good right
in
now.
the top 15.
Northwestern's number 13. So
I thought that Arizona and Stanford might be a little closer. Arizona was so high a couple weeks ago,
but then they got their ass kicked.
And they got their ass kicked again 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
But Stanford's a good team. I think they're gonna make a run that Pac-12, that wide open Pac-12.
Yeah, it's more wide open now than ever. So then we both picked Stanford, so we get a point there. Iowa at Wisconsin. So we both picked Wisconsin because it was at Wisconsin. I didn't know much about Iowa. I know Wisconsin has kind of been iffy this year.
And they recorded their running backs out.
Yeah, 10-6. What a game. 10-6.
Pretty boring game, but that's kind of how Big Ten football is once you get into conference play.
That's kind of Iowa, too. Iowa doesn't score a lot of points. They never do. Their defense controls the game, and if they win, it's because of their defense. But Iowa now hops into the top 25 for the first time since 2010. And that's the first time they beat a ranked opponent since 2011, I believe, is what the stat was saying. 2011 was the last time they beat an opponent that was in the top 25. So big year for Iowa so far. They're playing pretty well in the Big Ten.
Can't take anything away from them. They're 5-0. I was actually looking at their schedule because I was kind of interested in. I mean, they don't have that tough of a schedule. I don't think they don't have to play Ohio State. They don't have to play Michigan State. They're probably going to be favored in majority of the rest of their games. They could, make a pretty good run and end up winning the West. And the West is pretty wide open, as you could see from this weekend, even the first week.
Yeah.
But
college football's wide open right
now. College football's wide open.
We'll talk about that in a second, too. It's wide open. Ole Miss at Florida. So Ole Miss was ranked number 3, which was already a whole lot of crap. And then Florida was ranked, I believe, 25 coming into that game. So Florida kicked the shit out of Ole Miss. Man, they just ran it down their throat. They were throwing, they were passing, their defense was stellar. To me, Ole Miss was already overrated, and I think Florida just proved to everybody that them jumping from 15 to number 3 after beating Alabama was a big joke.
I said it once, I've said it 100 times, and I'll keep saying it. You can't win a game and jump 15 spots. And Florida won that game and did jump 15 spots, not to take anything away from them.
SEC.
But you need to move up like a little bit at a time. You
Yeah.
can't, because these teams move up 15 spots and then they think that they're something.
And then they get their butts kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
It just throws off the whole college football AP and everything moving forward.
Florida looked really good in that game, though. Ole Miss, a little bit of a letdown after a bad week they had last week, too.
Yep.
Well,
and after Florida beating Tennessee last week in that game last week against Tennessee, that was a lot of fun to watch. Florida comes out strong, and they really proved to a lot of people that maybe they're not as bad as people think.
They're undefeated. They're just outside the top 10.
McElwain's got them believing something, I guess.
Yeah.
So who knows? But Florida beat Ole Miss. I picked Florida. Jimmy picked Ole Miss. Point for me. Next game, we're going to talk about Clemson Notre Dame last year. Texas Tech at Baylor. So Texas Tech had a hell of a game against TCU. A lot of points scored. 55-52 was the final, with TCU coming out on top on a last-minute play in the end zone.
But Texas Tech was at home in that game. Flip side, they go to Baylor this week.
Yep. They still look good, though. Passing the ball, running the ball against TCU. Had a hell of a game last week against Baylor. I thought it'd be a little bit closer. I thought it'd be a good game, but I figured at Baylor, Baylor's still going to come out on top because it was at home. But I thought it was going to be more points scored because typically Baylor's defense is like TCU defense.
Yeah.
High-powered offense, they're fast, but their defense is not that stellar.
And Texas Tech's offense is fast scoring, and I mean just kind of like Baylor and TCU are. So that's why I had taken Texas Tech. I thought Baylor being at home probably win the game. I kind of wanted to go against you on that pick, and I wanted, something that an upset of sorts. Texas Tech going on the road to be a top 5 team, but Big 12 got a couple different contenders. We'll see how that all shakes out. They all have to play each other. So
Baylor came in strong in that game, and I'm going to tell you now, I think Baylor's going to beat TCU. The only reason why I think that, 2 high-scoring teams, but Baylor so far has shown they got the better defense.
And we'll have to see. We'll have to see where that game's being played at. I'm not sure who's the home team in that, but that'll be down the road.
So we got that one. I picked Baylor. Jimmy picked Texas Tech. Point for me. All right. So Notre Dame, Clemson. Notre Dame at Clemson. What a crappy weather. That weather was terrible.
All over the East Coast yesterday, those games. I just caught a couple games on TV, and every one of them was just downpour and, tough environment to have to play in.
So you look at this game, and Clemson really hasn't been too impressive early on. I mean, they've been winning their games, though. They're 4-0 going into this game. Notre Dame's 4-0 going into the game. You got to think that this would be a pretty good match. We got number 12 versus number 6. And Notre Dame comes in with one of the best running backs. They got a backup quarterback playing really well, but throwing the ball in that kind of weather can be hard, especially for a rookie. And they got one of the best wide receivers, so how are they going to utilize them? I thought Notre Dame coming in, I picked Clemson in this one, and actually so did Jimmy, but I thought Notre Dame would have a big advantage on the ground with Procise running the ball. He ran for like 50 yards on 19 carries. So is that Clemson defense? Is it weather? I don't know. But
it's hard to tell with a game like that.
24-22 Clemson, last-minute touchdown by Notre Dame with a chance to tie it, 2-point conversion, quarterback run. Big mistake if you ask me.
Yeah, we were texting during the game, and those last couple drives, credit Clemson, they came out and they got a pretty big lead. It was like 21-3.
Yeah.
Notre Dame crawled back late in the game, scored a touchdown. And then, they scored that last-minute touchdown. Down by 2, had to go for 2-point conversion. They had been picking the secondary apart.
Yeah. And the touchdown they threw, the fade in the corner of the end zone, was a great pass by Kaiser.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
And the Clemson defensive line on that quarterback run, man, they just pushed the Notre Dame defense straight to the left where he was running it. He ran it to the right, but they were pushing left. And Kaiser he couldn't bulldoze through that.
Maybe they saw something, or maybe they tried to spread things out to get open up the middle, but I don't know. I don't see why you don't at least take a chance in the air if the ball's not caught. You can say, well, we tried a run like that after the way that those last couple drives went. It just didn't make sense to me.
No, tough loss.
Yeah,
tough loss.
And
bad weather. Do you blame it on the elements? Both teams playing in the same game, so you can't really blame it on the weather for either team. But man, 24-22, it sure was exciting to watch.
I think the spread might have been somewhere around 2 as well in that game.
Probably.
So they knew. It was gonna be pretty close. And
you're saying it was fixed?
Maybe it was. And if it was, that's okay with me.
No, so Notre Dame loses, but heck of a game by both teams. Notre Dame drops to 15. Clemson jumps up to number 6. I think Dabo Sweeney is right where he thinks his team should be, but what coach wouldn't be. So also one thing in that second half of that game, Notre Dame had 4 turnovers in the second half. One of them was inside the 5-yard line on a fumble. Killer. Those 4 turnovers, I think, was a big difference in that game, and yeah, it's slippery out there. So I think that was a big cause in that. So
yeah, I did. Yeah,
heck of a game, though.
I forgot about that. That there was that turnover with about a minute and a half left, down at the 2 or 3 yard line. Pass looked like he was going to get in the end zone. They were going to have a chance to tie the game, and fumbled, and then
defense made a great stop.
They
came out,
stopped them, gave their team another chance. Bad punt.
Yeah.
Notre Dame got the ball on Clemson's side of the field and won a couple plays. And
yeah.
It was a good game.
Heck of a game. Notre Dame, I don't think they're out of a playoff run at this point just because of that loss.
I don't know that anybody really is.
No one is.
That's up there, with the loss.
Yeah. So I think a lot of teams are still going to get their first loss coming in the next couple of weeks. So Notre Dame, you're not out of it.
You're not out.
Keep playing hard.
You still have Stanford. You still have USC. I think they have maybe 1 or 2 other teams.
Maybe other tough game, but so Notre Dame, good game against Clemson. We both picked Clemson, so a point for us. So before we get to Nebraska, Illinois, right now is our point stand. After we didn't pick for week 1, but after the last 4 weeks, our picks. Jimmy's staying in at 11 and 12. He got 2 wins this week, 4 losses, and I came in at 4 and 2 this week, so I move up to 14 and 9. So I'm still beating him, but I am the older cousin. So
screw you, college football. How are we supposed to know who's going to win with all these damn games every week?
Nebraska at Illinois. So I mean, I'm weary every time Nebraska plays now because you just never know who's going to show up. Here's my big rant on Nebraska, and if you guys aren't following Facebook, you saw it yesterday. Offense coordinator. Here's the play call. Either we're going to throw left. That's right. We're going to throw right. We're going to throw left. Or we're going to throw 40 yards down the field. If we don't do that, we're going to try to run with our running back up the middle. Okay, let's try to do some running to the outside of the tackles, get some blockers out there, give it to Janovich. I think he touched it twice yesterday.
He got a handful of carries.
He needs more than that. We didn't run the ball enough. Anytime Tommy throws the ball, he's throwing it 40 yards. Tommy's got an arm, but he's not an accurate thrower when he's trying to throw 30, 40 yards. Why? I just don't get it. We're throwing, sideways. Where's the 5-6 yard slants? Why are we not slanting across the middle? We have Tariq Allen, we have Alonzo Moore, we have Westerkamp, and we have who's that freshman?
Stephen Carter as a
Carter, and then who's number 8? Who's our
Stanley
freshman?
Morgan.
Stanley Morgan. I mean, those guys. We didn't see nothing yesterday. We ran a couple sweeps with Alonzo Moore. We ran some passes straight left or straight right to Alonzo Moore and Westerkamp, and they were stuffing those every time. We're not throwing the ball down the field. We're playing sideways. And I don't know why. The offense coordinator, I don't know if he's just not seeing that it's not working, but it's starting to make me so upset because Tommy is throwing the ball 30 yards downfield when we need 15 yards or when we need 8 yards. He's throwing the distance. He's going for the end zone.
Or it's a screen.
Stop doing that, coach. Stop it. For God's sake, stop it. And let Tommy run the ball sometimes. For shit's sake, let him run the ball because Riley does not want a running quarterback. And I talked to your dad yesterday, and I understand it because we don't have anyone to back him up. Riker Fife is not going to be a great backup for Tommy. I like Riker Fife, but he's not going to be a good backup that's going to give us the best chance to win the game.
No.
That's Tommy. But Tommy is also not a pocket passer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's showing now he's not really that great of a passer.
He's more accurate on the run than he is if he just drops straight back.
But we're not running him.
It was a weird week because our defense actually played pretty dang good after how terrible they've been.
Yeah.
And then, but it was like, why can't we get our offense and defense to both be on the same level? Our offense was as bad as our defense has been the last couple games.
And just inconsistency across the board. And this has probably been the most frustrating 5 games in the history of Nebraska, at least in the 28 years I've been alive, and it's driving me insane this year, which is why I want to break stuff.
I mean, yes, and why I want to break stuff is because there's 55 seconds left, and run the damn ball, and they don't have any timeouts left.
No.
Then line up and kick a field goal. They still had a chance they could kick a field goal.
I disagree with the field goal. The only reason why I disagree with the field goal because if you ran the ball the play before and they had no timeouts, you run another 30 seconds off the clock, then you can do one more run play on 4th down, take it down even more. It's change of possession, but you're still going to run a few more seconds off. Instead, you give them the ball back with 51 seconds left in the game. And after the game, here's why Mike Riley's going to have his head called for. him and the offense coordinator threw Tommy Armstrong under the bus, saying that it was not supposed to be a pass play, it was supposed to be a run play. But that's not what the running back said. Our freshman running back, 22, he said he thought he was supposed to be running out for a pass. So whose fault was it? Was it the offense coordinator? Let's be on the same page,
Some
coaches.
kind of miscommunication, I guess.
When you've been together since spring training, since the beginning of the year, since you started practicing, there's no reason why that kind of miscommunication on a play call between the coordinators and the quarterback. Now, if Tommy just all of a sudden, if it's supposed to be a pass and he ran it, I get it. He's going to imprise, but he was passing the entire
If it's supposed to be a run,
way.
you're not going to pass.
He was surely going to pass it there.
Those are the
no
type.
doubt.
At that point in the game, that's what you practice during the week. That's what you practice more than anything is times like that. Getting crunch time before the half or the end of the game.
Yep.
Getting plays or running the clock out or that type of stuff. I don't know. There's obviously some miscommunication. I didn't like those calls, whether whoever made them. I don't know.
And no matter what, you never throw your players under the bus.
Well, that's true.
And that's one thing with Bo that I liked. Whether it was his fault or the players did not execute, he always took the blame. And that's what coaches do. You take the blame for the team on the loss. And both the offense coordinator and Mike Riley said it was Tommy's fault.
Well,
they blame Tommy, and you don't do that as a coach.
I was talking to a few people about it. In my experience, I played better. Oh, I played hockey. When I played better when I had an intense coach. Kind of. You want to do well, because you want him to be proud of you. Not that he's going to yell at you. Yeah, you're kind of scared he's going to yell at you. But Riley doesn't show any emotion.
So ho-hum on the sidelines,
it's like,
man.
whatever, maybe he gets in their face behind the scenes, but I don't think he does. And I played better. I had more motivation from somebody that's actually going to get in my face.
Well, if they're going to get in your face and yell at you for something you did wrong, at least they're doing it for the right reasons. So, and if that was the play call, afterwards, you didn't see him yelling at Tommy. You didn't see him get mad after the game on the press conference. Then he's going to throw Tommy under the bus. Not cool, Riley. Not cool. So
the best coaching
we'll see what happens.
The best coaching I had was head coach get in your face, assistant coach tell you what you did wrong and how to fix it.
Yeah.
So you just need some kind of balance like that.
So Nebraska loses, heartbreaking game, and even listening to Big Ten this morning, Big Ten Network, they're like, Nebraska, they are so close, and they're not dogging on Nebraska at all, which is kind of cool. But as a Nebraska fan, we're going to be pissed off. But I don't know who to be pissed off at, the execution or who to be pissed off at the coaching. I just don't know at this point, but I know our offensive play calling blows. I really do think that. No, I'm not an expert, but my opinion, as a Husker fan, is our offensive play calling. It blows.
And it is what it is. Right now we're 2-3, and it sucks. We lost the game by 1 point. We lost the game by 3 points, and we lost the game by 5 points. But a loss is a loss, and you got to take it.
Especially in the last
your
seconds of
wounds
the game.
And come back next week, I guess.
They better lick those wounds hard to heal them. So.
Yeah.
All right. So next, let's talk about the 4 teams that lost that were in the top 10. So we had Ole Miss number 3. We already talked about that game. Notre Dame was number 6. UCLA number 7. Georgia number 8. So UCLA, we didn't talk about that game, but man, they got their butts handed to them by Arizona State.
I think you said last week that we should throw that game in the mix, and I didn't really think that we should because and you would have picked UCLA anyway because you thought. And so would I.
It's Pac-12.
But the Pac-12, man.
But Arizona
late
State,
night, just like last year, late night.
I picked Arizona State against USC, and USC came out and whooped up Arizona State. So you just never know in these games. And yesterday, UCLA just had nothing. They had no answer for Arizona State. Arizona State came out and controlled that game up and down the field.
And I don't know if you saw that play of that running back.
Yeah.
With 40 guys on him running in the end zone. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It was awesome.
So, this is college football, though. This has been a crazy year. Let's move right into the top 10 and talk about that. So right now, AP poll came out this afternoon, and as soon as I saw it come out, I got the alert on my phone. I got pissed. I got so mad.
You grabbed the tall boy and
I got so mad. If I wasn't at a baptism luncheon, I would have started drinking beer. I was so pissed. Ohio State number 1 still. That's the biggest bullshit ever. They still got 38 votes, which is their lowest amount of votes for first place. But it's still bullshit. And TCU got 5 votes or 10 votes. How did they not get... I'm not a TCU Baylor fan whatsoever, but I was talking to my dad last night, and I said TCU Baylor should move up to number 1, number 2. The only reason why is because they're the only teams that have shown definitive wins this season. Big wins, big numbers. Yes, high-powered offense, not the best defense, but those 2 teams.
You could maybe throw Utah in the mix on that, but they were so far out that you can't move that
Yeah,
far.
and Utah was off this week.
And
so
they were off, yeah.
It's hard to
The only
move them up.
reason that I'll disagree with you on that I think TCU and Baylor should be 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I don't know. There's no one's number 1 right now.
Ohio State 34-27 against Indiana. I have never cheered for Indiana in any sport in my entire life, and yesterday I was sitting on the couch getting excited when Indiana was scoring points. I'm like, oh my God, Indiana's going to win the game. And it was exciting. It was fun to watch them go after Ohio State. It was fun to see Cordell Jones. They're talking about him being an NFL quarterback this next year. Dude's a sophomore. Stop it. Stop talking about him going to the NFL. The kid has a lot of work to do. Not that he's not a good quarterback, but he is not going to be going pro next year. He will fail miserably.
He is probably a pro-style quarterback and probably will play in the NFL. But
got to get faster.
Ohio State, I know they were on the road. No excuse, I guess. But Indiana...
Now it's Indiana.
It was the first time Indiana sold out a game in like 5 or 10 years or something. Indiana was playing with their damn backup quarterback and backup running back, and we're still scoring touchdowns. Yeah. Down by 7 with in the red zone. I think they had, first and goal at the 9-yard line, and had a chance to tie the game at the end. They didn't, obviously.
So Northern Illinois and Indiana, both 2017 last week, 34-27 this week. Number 1 team in the nation, defending champs. And they have not looked. They've looked good maybe 1 week this entire year. They've looked good in 1 game, and they haven't really
against
played
Hawaii.
anybody. Yeah, against Hawaii.
No, they beat Virginia Tech the first week, but they were losing the halftime.
Yeah, so they haven't really come out strong this year. So this is where it comes into talk. What the hell's going on with the rankings? You got the AP poll, and Dabo Sweeney for Clemson. He doesn't like the rankings. As a coach, you have to do a poll every week as coaches too. And he said, this is the biggest waste of my time to rank teams every week when it doesn't really matter until you get to the playoff. Once they actually doing the human playoff poll, week 8, week 9,
something like
week
that.
8 I believe is when they start doing the playoff poll. It doesn't really matter. So all these preseason rankings, all it does is it fires me up, it fires you up, it fires our producer up, it fires all of us up. We just get so mad, and I think that's why, because the fans talk about it. There's something to talk about on TV. Number 3 versus number 8, number 6 versus number 12. I mean, that's what it's all about.
I get it.
But it's BS. It pisses me off.
I get it why they do it, so that you can say the Saturday night ABC game is number 6 Notre Dame against number 12 Clemson.
Yeah.
I like to watch the top 25 games.
Yeah.
So I like it, but I don't like it because you have a team like Ole Miss beats Alabama and they jump up
13 spots.
12
spots, whatever.
Florida jumped from 25 to 11 this week because they beat Ole Miss.
But they are undefeated as well. And
That's
so,
true.
But still, it's like what happened to the other teams that were ahead of them that still won? Stanford,
They're kind of getting screwed.
One loss.
They lost by a handful of points. I know they didn't score any touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
It was their first game of the season. They played Northwestern, a good
Northwestern's
team.
13 now,
and they beat USC, and they have won all the rest of their games. They blew out Arizona.
So Ohio State still stays at number 1, but Michigan State wins 24-21 over a crappy Purdue team
Who still had a chance to in that
they had a
game.
chance to win. So not only did Indiana have a chance to win in the last play of the game, Purdue also had the ball left with like a minute and a half, and then I know Michigan State got the ball back to end it. But Michigan State was 24-21, and they dropped 2 spots. And Baylor and TCU jumped them, but Ohio State stays number 1. That's what I don't get. How does a number 2 team drop 2 spots when they still win, and Ohio State still wins, but they win by a touchdown, and they don't move? It's impossible to move from that top spot, even if you have crappy wins, and they have shown that in 3 of their 5 wins this season.
It's probably because they're the defending national champions, and they haven't lost yet.
So you got TCU, Baylor at number 2, 3, Michigan State at 4, Utah 5, well deserved.
Yes, Michigan State I thought might even drop farther. I'm glad that they at least dropped a couple spots. Maybe it'll light a fire in them because they're not looking good. They get ahead like 21-0. They did it 2 weeks in a row and then they don't do anything after that. It's weird. Utah kind of like
they had an off week.
They picked the best week to be off. I mean,
they did. The teams got beat up.
They jumped up. I don't even know how many spots.
Yeah, 3 spots I think.
Not that they shouldn't. They're probably right where they should be.
For now, until they play the next game, we'll see what happens. With Pac-12, you never know.
Late night Saturday night.
No, they play this Saturday night, so we'll see. Clemson moved up to 6 from 12. LSU wins 44-22, I think was the final against Central Michigan,
Eastern
Michigan, and heck. Fournette had over 200 yards rushing again.
Third game in
a row.
Broke some kind of record or something.
He's got to be he had 3 TDs, one of the top Heisman contenders by far.
But something I want to say interesting about that, I know that they can give him the ball. I mean, when they run up against like Alabama, we'll see how that goes. But their quarterback only completed 4 passes in that game. 4-15. I mean,
that's all he needed.
I know that's all they needed. They just need to give him the ball. But once they start playing Alabama's and those type of teams, it's going to be interesting to see. I think
LSU's got a solid defense too. They're pretty solid on D.
I think LSU is gonna do pretty well this year, but they're number 7 and Bama's at number 8. So
Bama's number 8. Bama came out strong again this week, looking stop the run. So we already talked about that. Texas A&M they won decisively over Mississippi State. And Texas A&M, I mean, they're 5-0. They're undefeated. They deserve to be in the top 10 if you ask me. I don't like them, but I think I don't like them because Johnny Manziel, I wasn't a fan of him.
Yeah.
But A&M having a heck of a year. They're 5-0.
Great coach.
Oklahoma comes in at number 10. So good round up for the top 10 there.
I think so. Yeah, I texted you like a handful of teams last night. Like, where do you put them? Where do you put them? And all of them are within that 5 to 10 range. So
there's your top 10. Like I said, I don't like it. The only thing I don't like out of it is Ohio State still being number 1. But other than that, I think the rest of it's pretty fair. We'll see what happens coming up in the next few weeks. A lot of matchups coming on. So a lot of ranked matchups and obviously the conference play coming up. So we'll talk about Heisman next, but first I want to talk about Texas.
Yeah.
Texas sucks. They are so bad. They're so bad. And Pooty, I'm sorry, but I know Notre Dame played Texas at the beginning of the year. You said it was a top program. Notre Dame is not a top, or Texas is not a top program. They are no longer, they haven't been since 2011, I think. 2011 was the last time they were really a solid team, but Charlie Strong, I think they're going to be calling for his head. He might not make it the whole season. He might not be there next week, Jimmy. He might. He might not. He might get fired this week.
They play Oklahoma in that Red River rivalry game.
They're going to get
killed. Maybe since that's a big rivalry game, maybe they'll come out firing or something. I don't know, but
no, they're going to get killed.
I mean, they're coming and playing a top 10 team. They might get killed again.
No, I like Charlie Strong.
I do too. I think he's a good coach. He got put into a bad situation, and they were hoping that he would be able to turn things around. And maybe he will. I know he gets his year,
maybe he gets his recruits in.
I was talking to somebody about it. He doesn't have that many of his recruits in. Whatever recruits he has are freshmen or redshirt freshmen or whatever.
And he kicked like 6 guys off the team last year.
Yeah,
were starters, but it's because they were breaking rules.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you need in a program like that. They were down 30-0 at the end of the first quarter. I mean, I know TCU's high-powered offense,
Boykin, great game,
but 30-0, and that's when Notre Dame beat them 31-0 or something. Yeah. When it was 30-0 at the end of the first quarter, I'm like, hey Tim,
sorry Tim,
they're already up 30-0 at the end of the first quarter. Sorry Tim.
Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, so Texas, keep struggling, boys. Probably I'm gonna be posting that punter. From last week, I'm going to post on the Facebook. Be on the lookout.
Best.
That cracked me up from last week.
And I mean, shoot, that game could have been even worse. I think TCU kind of took their foot off the gas. They won 50-7, and Texas scored a touchdown with like 5 minutes left in the game. But it could have been a shutout. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
50-7 is still pretty bad. 30-0 at the end of the first quarter is bad.
I laughed.
I liked it. Thanks, Texas.
Down the horns, down them. Heisman. Let's talk about Heisman real quick. We got 4 that we think are Heisman runners right now. One of them being obviously Fournette from LSU. Had a great week with 230 plus yards and 3 TDs. He has been solid every single game this year. I think he is the front runner as of now. I thought Nick Chubb was going to be at the beginning of the year. He's still in there. Nick Chubb's still having a good year. He still rushed for over 100 yards in their loss, but that loss didn't help him because he did struggle against Bama. But I still think he's one of the top Heisman candidates right now.
Yeah, I mean, he still had 140-some yards or something, but like you said, most of it was on one 83-yard rushing touchdown or whatever
it was.
But Ezekiel Elliott, he had 3 long touchdown runs. He had a lot of yards.
He had a 55, 65, 75 run. So
something like that.
3 rushes for almost 200 yards. I mean, that's Indiana's defense. If that tells you anything, they should have been running the ball all game. I don't know why they didn't, because they still struggled to score points. But But Ezekiel Elliott's still going to be in the top Heisman race as of now. We'll see moving forward.
I still think Fournette's probably the top.
Fournette's got to be number 1. I think Chubb might still be number 2. Boykin might be number 2. Boykin still had a good game. He threw 5 touchdown passes. Once again, crappy Texas team, period. But throw 5 TDs, and Boykin was a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, I mean, if you throw 5 TDs in a game, that's pretty good.
He's still a solid QB. He struggled here and there, but he
can run too. So, the way I always see the Heisman is, more often than not, they give it to the best player on the best team or the best player on one of the best teams. So TCU stays up there. I could see Boykin still staying in there.
I think that Texas punter might be in the running.
He might be. Please make like a not top 10
Heisman finalist.
No, well, I was gonna say not top 10 like plays of the college football season. That's gotta be.
We could do that.
Number 1. We should. We'll have to make our own and
post it. All right. So that's our Heisman candidates. So let's talk about games next week. Not a lot going on in college football next week. Not a lot of excitement, but some of the top games that we picked out was number 23 Cal versus number 5 Utah. So. Late night, Saturday
9 o'clock on
Pac-12, breaking into my bedtime.
The last year it was every week, like a Hail Mary to beat a top 10 team in those late night games, and Arizona State beats UCLA last night, late night. I mean, it's shaping up to be that exact same way. And Cal's not bad.
They won last night. They had a tight game last night. I can't remember who they played, but they played a tight game and they ended up winning. So, Cal, Utah, man, we're praising you right now. We want you to stay there.
I want you to win. I'm going to pick you to win.
Goodbye UCLA, obviously for the playoff for the Pac-12. I think Utah is now the top runner, especially how they played a couple weeks ago. Oh,
and they beat Michigan.
And by the way, real quick before we talk about the next game. Colorado almost beat Oregon last night. If you guys saw Facebook last night, I was still up at like 2 in the morning. I was watching that game because the game was in Colorado, so it's not like it should have been that late at night. It was only an hour difference from Central Time, but they had an hour and a half rain delay, and it was still pouring rain. I think Oregon ended up winning like 37-24. They pulled away in the last, in the fourth quarter. But man, that game was fun to watch.
Colorado's unis were pretty sweet. I liked them. I don't like Colorado whatsoever. But
Colorado looked pretty hyped up, and that was fun to watch because I haven't seen Colorado play that good in years. Probably since the time that Nebraska lost and punched the guy in the face. That was the last time I saw Colorado play that good.
That's awesome. You should upload that.
I should put that on there. So
that's awesome.
Bunch of fans.
Sorry. It was awesome.
So then we got number 13.
Well, who are you gonna pick?
Oh yeah. So I got Utah.
I'm gonna take Utah. I think that
Utah at home.
Maybe we're jinxing teams. I don't know, but I'm still gonna take Utah because I think that they're the only team that's beat Michigan this year. Michigan's, they've gotten shutouts the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Utah's got it. Utah's going to win this game at home. We got number 13 Northwestern at number 18 Michigan. Man, I think one of these two teams is actually the best team in the Big Ten right now as far as the way they've been playing lately. Of course, you got Michigan State, Ohio State up there, but you look at the way they've been playing recently, I think Northwestern and Michigan are by far the two teams that have been playing the best football, complete games, all around. Michigan's a surprise. After their first game, losing their first game of the season, but then they've come out strong.
They lost by 10. They lost by 10 to Utah, which now obviously doesn't look that bad.
So, Northwestern at Michigan at the Big House, 100,000 people
It'll
there.
be interesting to see what the spread is for that game.
I'm gonna take Oh, that's a hard one. I'm gonna take Northwestern.
Please do, because I'm gonna take Michigan.
Okay.
Because I think. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see what the spread is. I don't know who will be favored in that game. I don't like Michigan.
He's gonna wear those caps.
And I actually like Pat Fitzgerald in Northwestern. Yes. I just think that with how Michigan's showed that they've shut teams out the last couple weeks, Northwestern's offense isn't that great. They can run. Their quarterback's not fantastic passing. They're going on the road to Michigan. Michigan's defense has been playing pretty good. Their offense has been putting up points. I'm going to take Michigan.
I think it's going to be a fun game.
No
matter who wins, that's probably the game I'm looking forward to. We don't have a wedding next weekend, thank God. So we can actually watch football all the games next week, hopefully. So
some of us can, some of us can't watch all of them.
But I'll do my best. But Northwestern, I got to take you, and best of luck. But it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm looking forward to that one. Miami at Florida State. So Florida State, they struggled yesterday again against Wake Forest. They didn't have that great of a game. But they're still at number 12. They dropped 1 or 2 spots, I think 1 spot. Miami coming in to Florida State. We're picking this game only because I think Miami's going to show up strong against Florida State. Because I don't think Florida State's that good. Again, I usually don't. And I'm going to pick against Florida State. And I'm taking Miami. They're going to beat number 12, Florida State. Kaya had a good game yesterday. Miami played good yesterday. Kaya had a great game, or Friday.
No, they lost to Cincinnati on Thursday.
But it was a good game.
Night.
It was a good game Thursday night, Cincinnati. I was cheering for Cincinnati, by the way. But I think Miami, Kaya, I think is going to come in strong against that Florida State defense, and he's going to beat them in the air.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take Miami. Florida State won by 8 against Wake Forest, maybe.
Yeah, that was
last night.
Not that great of a game.
Something's got to give with Florida. I don't think that they've played that great of teams, and they haven't won that big in any of the games. Yeah. Miami is coming off a loss. They're probably going to be frustrated, playing one of their biggest rivals, in-state rival, going on the road. I think they're going to win.
Should be fun. Miami. All right. We're taking the Canes, and I don't like Miami. I hate Miami. But you know what I do love? Jameis Winston lost again today, even though he plays for the Bucs. But Jameis Winston, he lost again, and he threw another pick six. 4 picks.
I don't like Jimbo Fisher.
4 games of the season.
I don't like Jimbo Fisher. So.
Goodbye. All right, so Wisconsin at Nebraska. Wisconsin is not playing their best football right now. Neither is Nebraska. I'm going to be at this game. I'm excited for this one. I'm very excited to be there. Nebraska's not playing well. Wisconsin's not playing well. It could be a fun game to watch.
Could be pretty good. It could be 6-3.
It could be one of the best games of the week.
It could be 6-3. Wisconsin lost, 10-6 yesterday. Nebraska lost 14-13. How many points are going to be scored in this game?
It could be 6-3. It could be 6-2. Maybe we get 2 field goals and a safety out of this game. Maybe Drew Brown kicks a couple and we win 6-2. Obviously, we know who we're picking. Go Big Red all the time. But I think it's going to be a fun game.
Joel Stave looked pretty bad yesterday.
Stave's up and down this year.
Corey Clement's out for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I don't know who they have backing up. I listened to a little bit of the game on Wisconsin-Iowa on the radio yesterday. Didn't sound like a very great game, but that's how the Big Ten games are. Yeah, I was just taking Nebraska. Hopefully we can turn it around, turn the season around, win some games in the Big Ten West. So.
All right, so to wrap things up, Nebraska, get your shit together. Offense coordinator, get your shit together. Mike Riley, show some emotion on the sidelines. Ohio State, you suck. Texas, you suck. Charlie Strong, get your shit together.
Sorry, Charlie.
Ohio State, you don't deserve to be number 1, but you still are. I don't like Urban Meyer, but whatever. We're not. This is why we have our opinions, and this is why we're not in charge of college football rankings.
This is why we drink beer and do our show instead of
very true.
Have paperwork and talk about it and stuff.
It's fun. Heisman, we still got, it's kind of wide open still, but we got a few guys that I think are still up at the top.
I want to see somebody this week jump in the mix that we don't know.
Tommy Armstrong, come on. It's not going to happen.
That'd be a stretch.
I think, let's see somebody from
Utah.
Baylor Utah.
Somebody from Utah.
Maybe the punter from Utah. Maybe he'll do another fake punt and run 33 yards.
Or
the Aussie.
Or the guy that returned that punt.
Yeah,
that fake punt.
So, thanks for joining in. Week 5. Had a hell of a time today. Next week we'll be with you. Next week we are going to have a special guest next week. Jimmy, you might not have known that, but we are. We got our actually one of our cousin's husbands, Mike Schwartz, is actually going to join us.
Man.
Mike's going to come and join us next week. So Mike, if you're watching today, be prepared for next week to talk about some college football.
Make some notes.
Hootie, we're going to get you on the phone eventually to talk about Notre Dame. I know they lost. Keep your head up, buddy. Keep your head up. We're coming for you. All right, got anything else?
Nah, I think that's it for today.
Right. So, that's it for week 5 of 2 Average Guys. Thanks for joining in, everybody. I know this was a long one. A lot to talk about. A couple rants. Sorry, I'm kind of pissy today about top 10. I'm kind of pissy about Nebraska. Go Big Red all the time. I still bleed red. Let's go, boys.
See you next week.